Hello and welcome, Essex County College family. This is the virtual cafe powered by Student Life and Activities. Today's episode number 67 is Are You Stuck? S.T.U.C.K. That is an acronym we came up with here at Student Life and Activities, and I will show you what it stands for. Stands for strength, together, unity, caring, and kindness. We've made these shirts to help promote this campaign. In addition to a back print, it also has a pretty cool sleeve print with the logo and the Are You Stuck? And if you notice, the front is completely blank. So you may be saying, why is there a sleeve print and a back print? You went through all this trouble, but there's nothing on the front. That's where you come in. We left the front of the shirt white for you to design however you want to. We want to get these to you, and we're going to let you know how a little bit later. Everybody that is in our session today will be receiving one for being here. Nice job, everybody's getting a shirt already. Pretty good, huh? All right. So, June is Mental Health Awareness Month across the globe. We would like to visit that here at Essex as well. Obviously, mental health is a very, very important obligation to yourself and others as we traverse the world, traverse this beautiful country that we have, this one life that we have. Self-care is very, very important. We see on TV, treat yourself, self-care constantly. I watch Tamron as much as the next person. Self-care is important, but understanding to actually, it's one thing to just buy yourself stuff and go out and turn the world off and do whatever you got to do to create a little numbness, but that is a temporary feeling. And what might be better for you, the student, is to understand mental health a little better. And when someone else is having a crisis, it's better to just understand them than to yes them to death or to, give them whatever they want or whatever you think they need, because none of us are an expert on this. But today, we did get two experts in-house, some of our finest Essex County College's finest counselors. We have with us today Professor and Counselor Kathy Battle, and we also have Professor and Counselor Mary Jenkins. We are going to set the screen up in a minute so you can see everybody's beautiful face at once. So please stick around with your questions till the end, and our counselors will be able to help you and potentially answer your questions for you. But until then, stick around for our roundtable discussion on a myriad of topics, all regarding mental health. Happy Mental Health Month. It is June. Let's get into it. We're all on the screen. That's fantastic. Good afternoon, Miss Battle, Miss Jenkins. How are you?
Good afternoon.
All right. Thanks for joining us on the cafe today. So as we stated before, June is Mental Health Month. We do want to spotlight some programming for our students on the importance of mental health. Wanted to begin with talking about, since we have some mask mandates coming down across the country, and even though it's up to the states, New Jersey is still has the mask in place. I would expect us to follow other states shortly once our vaccination percentage, our rate has gone up. And that means that we're going to be assimilating back into in-person life, because we've been in virtual life for a long time. So we're about to jump back in, Essex County College staff, Essex County College students, faculty, counselors, everybody. So that's an adjustment in itself, because now, for this past year, we've all gotten used to working from home. We've all gotten used to the convenience of not having to maybe get dressed, and maybe our routines have changed while we've been working and schooling from home. So now that we're coming back to school, that routine's come back, and you may say to yourself, well, that's okay. I'll just go back to how I used to do it. Might not be as easy for some people as it is for others. So let's start with Professor Jenkins. Professor Jenkins, what might be some healthy routines or some healthy tips for students that have been homes, virtually schooling for the past year with us, and now are going to be coming back onto campus and maybe nervous about jumping back into a class with 20 people in it. And you come in the building, you got to get your forehead scanned. It's a whole new procedure here. It's it comes with its own anxieties, just for the fact that our routine at Essex has changed. So what advice might you give to some of our students coming in who have been sheltered for the past year and are coming back to school?
Thank you, Joseph. So, it's been very stressful for our students. When the pandemic started, it was stressful just getting used to doing virtual learning. And now that in September, hopefully, we will be back to face, that's going to require another adjustment, right? And some of my students have not gotten through the adjustment of being virtual. So I would say some tips would be to now that hopefully everyone know that potentially we coming back in September, to have a mindset that, okay, I'm going back into face-to-face school system. I'm going to be amongst other students, staff, everybody. It's going to be people, just to think safety. Okay, I'm not going to be involved with gathering like maybe I used to do before the pandemic. I'm going to wear my mask if that is the decision of the students to wear their mask. Of course, just being prepared to go into the classroom and knowing that it may be less students than it used to be inside a classroom setting. Just pretty much, having that healthy mindset that, okay, we're back face to face and I need to do this to be safe or to be cautious. Okay. So I think that the tip would be having a positive mindset that you're going back to face, and and just cope with it. And if they need help, I'm here, as well as Professor Battle and others as well, not just the two of us, but just having that positive mindset. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Professor Jenkins. Professor
Mhm.
Battle, do you have anything to add for our students that are coming back in the building eventually at some point this year that have been home?
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Joseph. I would, if you're going to take classes, especially in person, I would say come in on the campus early, in terms of
Mhm.
maybe a few days before, a week before, because the campus is open, except like on convocation day or something like that. But uh, I would say come in and kind of like smell the air again. Um, See what changed, because we're doing some different construction with the bathrooms in different places. Some things might have changed, so I would say try to drop in a little early and just kind of get the lay of the land. Also, if you have friends that go to the college, get them to meet up with you at the college, and maybe go downtown for lunch, just to kind of re-socialize yourself. um, and the third thing, along the lines of what Professor Jenkins said, is have a positive mindset. Focus on the positive things, like doing well. Okay, hey, I'm going back in. I'm going to do well, especially if you did well virtually. Wow, that's a plus, because a lot of us didn't understand what virtual meant until we were in it,
Yeah.
teachers included. So, counseling is a different ball game virtually than it is in person. So,
Yeah.
think positively, be prepared. Get your notebook like you always do. You remember high school, you got that big loose leaf notebook with the 200 pages of paper and all this, your pens, your books if you can, and think about the progress that you have already made, and focus on that so it can propel you to continue to be progressive. That's what I have
Yes.
for now.
Excellent. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. I want to pose this situation to the two of you for our students. I'm sure people wonder about this frequently. When when is a good when is a good time to seek help So say you're a student, you've been home this whole time, your routine has changed. Maybe you're noticing a change in your own behavior, or others are noticing a change in your behavior that maybe you're unaware of. Maybe you're not feeling your 100% self that you have been, and the isolation has maybe changed a little bit of how you act, and you're quiet and not necessarily seeking the attention from others, not necessarily seeking kinship or friendship from anybody particularly, not reaching out to folks, kind of, putting a shell around yourself. When and how would you be able to seek help for yourself if you're not feeling right, if you're feeling down, if you are noticing that change and you don't know where to turn, you don't know what to do, you're not at school, you're home, but you have your phone available to you, what may be some ways, or what would you advise our students to do? What would be the first step if you think you need help, or how can you tell if you need help? We'll start with Miss Battle. Go ahead, Miss Battle.
Uh, we know. That's what I want to say. We know when things are funny or different or scary or you're feeling out of sorts. So if you're starting to find yourself being more irritable or on edge or snapping at people, or maybe you're hallucinating about negative things, or maybe you're feeling constant headaches, stomach aches, because our stress comes out in different ways. So what I say for you now may not apply to somebody else. So when things are a little different for you. So one thing that I tell students often is go get a checkup first at your medical doctor so that you can rule out COVID and anything else that may be going on. And then after all that's ruled out, then the doctor can say, okay, so what else is going on? Well, doc, I keep having these headaches. I've been snapping at my mom, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my cousin, and the doctor can make recommendations, or you can ask and say, hey, is it possible I could see a counselor or a therapist? Because oftentimes we have insurance and we do not tap into that piece of our insurance. Now, funny enough, since I'm in my doctoral program, Joseph, right? Thank you for asking.
Hey, congratulations.
My topic is on help seeking behaviors in students and how they don't seek out help. And there are many reasons, but the top three tend to be stigma, right? Personal or what others may think. Oh man, oh, no, it's nothing really that wrong with me. I gotta go tell my business to somebody, and then they're gonna tell somebody, and then you're a little embarrassed and everything. More often than not, it's between you and that counselor, and y'all sit down and have a conversation, and it's just like an everyday conversation, and you decide what you want to share and don't share, right? And you may feel like a little bit of liberation when you come out. You may feel lighter. I tell students, if I make you laugh by the time you walk out my office, then I've done my job. All right. So it just may make you feel lighter. Yes, I got that. I see that. Um, the other thing is stigma from others. So if you tell your mother, mommy, I want to go to counseling, she said, girl, you go to God. You don't tell nobody your business. You especially don't tell them about stuff that happened in my house. Right. That's a personal decision. Okay. And maybe you don't want to mention it to mom since you know that she may judge you. So they have plenty of things now, especially because of COVID, that you can do via text, like the crisis text line, which is on that poster. which is a great tool. There's always someone at the other end. So you can be anonymous. You can give them a fake name. Huh, how about that? Call yourself Lulabelle Jenkins, hot dog. They say, oh, you related to Jenkins? Yeah, right. So I'm saying that the beautiful thing about the crisis text line is that you can remain anonymous. You don't have to worry about somebody staring you up and down in your face and judging you because that's what you think they're doing. You can talk about whatever you want to, and there's always going to be somebody there to listen to you. And you could call 24/7. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, like a lot of us are awake because our troubles are messing with us, it pops up in the middle of the night. And I know most of y'all know what I'm talking about. It's not during the day when we're busy, going to class and doing work and doing our thing. It's in the middle of the night and you're trying to sleep and those things are popping in your head. Guess what? You can text the crisis text line and say help or hi, or you can text any word you want. They may say, you may read something that says help or whatever. They don't care what you text. They're going to text you back and say, how can I help? And you have somebody at the other end that you can confide in. Somebody put up in the chat do's and don'ts. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes because that doesn't relate to this thing right here. I want Professor Jenkins to be able to share her piece on this.
Okay, so when should you get help? You should get help as soon as you know that something is not right with me. I'm not the normal person that I used to be. I have more anxiety and all those other things that Professor Battle just mentioned. So that's when you should get help. And by getting help, even if you don't know the crisis number, there's 911. There's is it 201? I'm not sure if it's 201,
211.
but no,
The
two what?
211. That's the
211,
United
right?
Way, and they have a lot of resources available.
For
And there's also the suicide hotline. So even if you don't know those numbers,
that's
if you
right.
said that to Siri gonna pop something up at you. And Siri don't like me, but
Absolutely.
she would tell me about the suicide hotline and the
Hotline.
crisis text line.
Yeah.
And I also, Jenkins, as if you can go to the website, right? For me, I don't know if you can open up a screen and
I
go to the
don't.
website. I can show them the resource guide that we were able to get up on the website.
Which site?
The
Yeah.
Essex.edu.
Okay.
All
You
right. So
doing?
everybody can see
Okay.
this and you can do it at your own convenience and your privacy with your pajamas on and with the dog in your lap, and nobody else has to know.
Where is it on our website? Oh, you know
Okay.
what?
So
I'm going to share the screen. That way we can
yeah,
show students how to get there.
right. That's exactly what I want you to do. Okay. So if you go to student,
Okay.
and you see right down there at the bottom, community resource guide.
Community resource guide.
Right. See that beautiful thing?
Yes.
57 pages of madness and gladness.
Professor Kathy Battle.
Yes! Now, some of the things are outdated. However, this is a crisis hotline screen. So this is a page of hotlines. So if you don't want nothing else, if you got a child abuse situation, you got a DIFUS case, you got crisis intervention, you could go to Beth Israel, you could call the crisis intervention hotline, you could call Newark Emergency Services if you're homeless or you got burned out. University Hospital is our common hospital for trauma. Essex County Children's Mobile Response, they will come to you. It is a mobile unit. Newark Homeless Services, Crisis Sex Line, dun, 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 dun. All right. And the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That's a good number to keep in your phone. You could put the icon on the top of your screen. New Jersey Mental Health Cares is a hotline, disaster distress helpline, New Jersey Disaster Mental Health Helpline, cutting. Some of us like to cut up our little
Yes,
skin.
yes.
And so you could call somebody and say, hey, I'm going through something, and there's somebody gonna be there for you. Dating, abuse, and domestic violence, same thing. There's somebody on the other end. Domestic violence and rape
Mhm,
crisis, okay? So all
mhm.
of those are just hotlines. Everything is right at your fingertips. Now, if you go down, it continues with eating disorders, National Association of Anorexia Nervosa. None of us suffer from that, right? And overeating, undereating, human trafficking. If you are a victim of that or know somebody that may be a victim, you can call them. Reproductive health. We still have an 800 number for Planned Parenthood, although we don't have a lot of sites available anymore. The STI Resource Center, that's the sexually transmitted diseases. Runaways, support for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender. That's a big population nowadays. So there's a spot for you. The Trevor Project is another one for that same population and veterans. Okay, if you go down, that's in-house resources. All right. Some of those might have changed, but a lot of them are still the same. Go down. And then it starts through A through Z. Go down. Okay. Community resources. Here's that 211. Community information and referral. So if you call them, they will know a lot of resources in the community. And they are sponsored by the United Way of Essex and West Hudson. And everything else is alphabetized. If you see the bold letters, the bold words, that tells you the type of services they offer. So that goes from A to Z. So you can print a page if you just want a page. If you want 5 pages, knock yourself out. But this was designed in 2009, and I've been trying to get this thing up on the website. So hallelujah. Thank you to Dr. Kirkland
Hallelujah.
for hearing my cry. So
Seriously, this is one of the best resources I've ever seen. Students, this is the first time learning about this, first time seeing it. Thank you, Miss Battle, for compiling this. That's got it all right there. Anything you can
yes.
possibly need. It's 2 clicks off our website, student, and then community at the bottom. That's it.
So if y'all can use that anytime you want, from home, from your phone, you can get to it. So if you have friends or family that are in trouble too, you say, wait a minute, I got a resource for you. Wait, we're going to look at this together. Because what I do oftentimes, I sit down with students in my office and go through the resources that may be helpful for them. Sometimes I'll help them call, or they may say, you know what, if you just give me page 2, 7, and 9, I could go home and call myself. So, please, 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 guys, use it. Please. I cried to get that thing up. And I'm trying to, and students, if you want to let me know a good way to update it, because that was done in now we done moved up to new age. I need to be able to add stuff to it. I have resources sitting on the side that I can add to it, but I can't find an easy way to make that happen without causing a lot of confusion. So if you
Okay.
can think of something, and let me know, please. My email address is battle@essex.edu.
Excellent. Yeah, we
Yeah,
definitely will.
before you continue, Joseph, I just want to say also, when is the best time? Now, if you are a student in my class, that's the best time to reach out to me. I really try to make my classes as comfortable as possible. And I'm happy to say that I've had students come up to me, oh my goodness, throughout the years seeking help. And, I talk with them and then I refer them to Miss Battle or to Jim or Victor,
Right, right.
So yeah, reach out to me, please. I will do what I can to help
And
you.
if you're an EOF student, you also have a counselor in the EOF department. So please reach out to them as well. EK Azubuki, Caroline Beretta, India
Yes,
Calloway, all of them are over there for your, your assistance. They are there for you. So
yes.
we have counselors. It's not many of us left, y'all, but we we got a few left. We still the last of the Mohicans hanging on. And
Hanging
also,
on.
you can email us. You can dial our phone number. For me, emailing works because if I have something I want to share with you and I put it in writing, that's the easiest way for me. Rather than talk to you the way I'm doing now, because a lot of people don't listen, right? And I'm
Mhm.
not talking about none of y'all, right? I'm just saying a lot of us don't listen as much as we would like to have something that we can print out and say, okay, she did say this, she did say that. So emailing works for me, okay?
Perfect. Students, you heard it here. Plenty of resources internally at the college and also externally available in that wonderful guide that Professor Battle has put together. It's available at essex.edu. When you're watching this video on YouTube, you will see the website address come up for that for easy access. To just jump on what you both were talking about the idea of reaching out for help and how the stigma surrounding that. So, what do we do about the folks in our lives who, yeah, let's not care about people's opinions who don't matter to us. But what if it's someone important like mom or dad or brother or sister or cousin, aunt and uncle, whoever, whoever? What if it's mom or dad that is the person that you're coming to and you're saying, I don't feel right. I think I need to seek help. And it's mom or dad who's saying, go for help with Jesus or go for help, with X, Y, and Z. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Or no, that's a sign of weakness. Or you're not, you got to be tough. You're not tough if you do that. Now, is it possible that someone is trusted as mom or dad or brother or sister or a best friend? Is it possible that they themselves may have a mental health issue and are being negative towards it because maybe they're projecting their fear onto
Sure.
you when you're saying that you may need to get help and they're telling you, no, that's for the weak. No, you shouldn't do that. Well, how do we explain these people? How do we, because we can't shut out those people that are judging us that are in our life. We can shut out anybody who's judging us on the outside easily by just not talking to them. But what if it's someone we live with that is that negative factor? Is it possible that they are having their own mental health issue and are too afraid to break their own cycle or to give you that advice to reach out to a crisis helpline or a counselor or use your insurance and go to the doctor? How do we, so my question to Professors Battle and Jenkins is, how do we deal with those negative voices when they're in our house? How, is there a chance to understand their mental health, or how do we get them to understand our mental health? That way we can have that strength, that togetherness, that unity to help each other instead of, no, don't do that. Instead of that, how do we remove that negativity, or how do we get the people that live with us to understand that the mental health issue is not going anywhere until we get some help, and the negative voice is not going to make it go away? What can we do with those people we love whose eyes are half closed on this?
Um,
Well, I
Sorry.
don't
I
know
would
who you want to go.
Either
look, look.
either one of you.
I, what I say first and foremost is take care of yourself. Um, because if you're not getting yourself help, you can't share this with anybody else, right? So if you get on the crisis text line, or if you find a therapist through your insurance or through a community service or whatever, you go and take care of your business. And I know some of you may live in strict households where you got to tell everybody where you're going and this and this and this. Well, you can say I'm going to an appointment, and you can share where you're going, but you have to be strong enough to say, hey guys, this is for me. And I'll talk to you about it when I get home.
Right.
Because you may be the what do I want to say, the breaker of the process. You know, we got to break the cycle. We got to break the negativity about going to counseling and going to get help. If you have a broken foot, you will go to the doctor. So you have a broken spirit. You got to go somewhere and get that taken care of. You can't just let it sit, because you know what happens if you let that foot sit. It's going to swell up, it's going to get infected, it's going to become a bigger problem. So the same thing applies to your mental health. So you have to take charge and say, you know what? I understand, Mom. I love you, Dad, and boyfriend and girlfriend. I got to go do this for myself. And I will share my great experience with you as I'm going through it. And maybe that'll change some of your thinking, because sometimes our parents have had negative experiences, or they've been told from grandma, grandpa before them the same stories over and over, and they're sharing the same thing with you. And you can be the one to say, that's not true. That's not the case with me. I had a good experience. And my counselor will get along very well. Matter of fact, she may make me laugh. He may make me do some jumping jacks to get rid of some of my anxiety. Whatever. You can be the one to share the goodness of what comes out of taking care of yourself. You know, so I would just say, hey, I'm going to the doctor. And they go, what doctor are you going to? I'm just going to the doctor. I'll be back. Look, you it's not lying. It's stretching the truth a little bit, but sometimes we got to do that to get on with the rest of our lives, because everybody doesn't want to understand. So there are people that you will try to sell the moon to. You will tell them the sky is blue, and they will still tell you no, it's not. And you got to let them be where they are. And you still got to go on and say, hey, the sky's blue where I'm at. And I'm going to keep on moving and do what I got to do. Because if your mental health is not right, nothing else in your life will be right. School, work, your health, all of that is going to fall apart eventually, little by little. So you need to take care of yourself. And COVID, if it taught us nothing else, it taught us to take care of ourselves, because this thing is bigger than us, and we got to have something to reach out to, whether it's telehealth, because counseling happens on Zoom, on the phone, texting. It's all over the place now. So you can get it from whatever avenue you want, because it's become that prevalent, because of COVID and because of other crises going on. But COVID has been the one. You'll look at the TV. If you sit there for an hour, you'll realize, wow, I could call that guy. He be sitting on the bench in New York, and he be talking to his counselor. Yup, you can do that too. So get on the phone, text somebody, email somebody. Telehealth is serious. Telemed is serious. A lot of us are seeing our doctors on the phone or through Zoom. You can see a therapist the same way, and you could do it in the privacy of your own bedroom or in the bathroom while you're sitting on that throne. You get your little 30-minute in and say, y'all leave me alone, I'm in the bathroom. And you take care of your business. I'm just saying.
I didn't know that.
Be creative.
So now you can do telehealth for mental health as well.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So so for students that have a fear of being judged, okay, yeah, no one's going to see you. No one knows your car. No one knows you went anywhere. That's brilliant.
Yeah. My thought is that if you have enough strength to go and ask a loved one or someone that you consider it to be close to you, should you seek help because something is going on. If you have enough strength to do that, and if they're telling you no, let's not do that because, especially if it's coming from a family member, I don't want our business to get out, or they could have done something that would get them in trouble and they don't want you to bring it out, right? So, but if you have enough strength to ask someone for help and they are not responding the way you feel that they should have or had, use your strength. Just go ahead and say, okay, I did go to my trusted family member, my friend, but now I got to step out on my own and get the help that I need for myself. So, definitely use your strength.
And
Okay.
of course, thank you, Miss Jenkins, for once again using one of our buzzwords, strength. That's a big one, okay? We want strength,
Ah!
together, unity, caring, and kindness. Let's talk a little bit
Whoop.
about caring and kindness right now, because that is something that is often overlooked by folks when they are trying to understand or judging others who are having some type of anxiety attack or crisis. So let's get into that real quick. What not to say to someone who is having emotional trauma? Now, I don't know if any of you watching are guilty of this. I know I am. It's as simple as that. So I can tell you in a situation before, I've been in a situation with a friend when, years ago, after I've learned to be stuck prior to that acronym, I might say something like, hey, what are you doing? We're going to be fine. Just go in there and try to not physically push, maybe sometimes if it's a concert or something, but, mentally push, and it's wrong. And I didn't know that at the time. I had a friend who was having an anxiety attack about going in somewhere they maybe have purchased tickets to, but are having a flood of emotions and fears about entering into the building. And to me, the person not having the panic attack, I'm saying to myself, what is wrong with this person? Everything's fine here. We're safe. Everything's going to be okay. Like, come on, come on, come on, come on. And I'm pushing them, and it's only building into their anxiety. So, professors, let's start with Professor Jenkins this time. Professor Jenkins, what's a better way to support someone? What's a better way to show empathy? Or what are some things not to say to someone who is literally in the middle of an anxiety attack? Someone who's literally panicking, is frozen, is having an issue, maybe on medication or whatnot. What are some things to avoid? What are some things to not avoid?
Not the same. Yeah, especially if this is, people sometimes will say, oh, get over it. Whatever you're going through, get over it. No, let's not say those things. Those are not showing empathy towards someone, showing that, not that they don't care, but those are not positive things because you really don't know what the person is going through, what their feelings are. And if you're saying just get over it, or, you know, you're crazy. Some people call other people crazy because their emotions or their behaviors are different than theirs. So they want to say, oh, you're just crazy, or, don't say things like that. Try to put yourself in the other person's perspective, right? Try to see the things from their point of view. Be encouraging. Be there for them. Can I help you with anything? Is there someone I need to call? Or, if you just want me to have a listening ear for you, I'm here. I will listen to you. Whatever you need me to do to help you with whatever you may have gone through now, I am here for you. Okay. And don't get over it. I'm not, I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm tired of you going through this. I'm tired of you saying the same things. When I tell you not to do this, you still do that. No, take away those negativity. Remember, this may be your friend, or may not be your friend, but this is someone that's coming to you for help. They're crying for help, okay? Not literally crying, but they're crying for help. So be empathetic towards that, and not say negative things. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Battle. How do you
Joseph,
feel?
I put two websites in the chat.
Excellent. Thank you. Power
So if you
Positivity and
want to,
Healthline.
um, one talks about 15 signs of when you know somebody's going through something. and the other one talks about the do's and don'ts. They give you a summary up in that the turquoise words up there: have a plan, get consent, set expectations.
Okay.
This is that friend, right? You can scroll down. This is that friend that's in your life, or that family member that's in your life, that constantly depends on you for their emotional support. So this is an article that kind of says to you, this is what you can do. You tell them, look, I'm available on Friday at 2:00, but you can't call me on the weekend. You
All right.
can set up the time and the way that you want to help them without draining yourself. And one of the things that they talk about is have a plan. Have a plan. So they call it RAP, which is a therapeutic term, Wellness Recovery Action Plan. And this is a lot more counseling oriented, but if you have somebody in your life that is suffering from mental illness, this is something that you probably keep on hand all the time. So a lot of us that have, I just want to tell you guys, as college students, you manifest mental illness at this time in your life. The typical college student between 18 and 24, that's when mental illness starts shining through. So if you never felt it before, now in this part in your life, it may really manifest. And then when it does, you start looking back at your family and saying, oh my God, that's how Uncle Bubba be acting. That's how Grandma Susie was acting, because it runs in families, guys. So you are not alone. And oftentimes when families say don't go to that therapist, it's because they've had a bad experience and they may be suffering themselves. More often than not, the students I see, they come from families that at least one person in the family suffers from mental illness. So it's behaviors that are shown and they grow up around, and they get so disoriented by the time they get to your age, and they go, oh my God. So you start seeing similarities in behaviors. So if you already have mom or grandmom in the household, because I know a lot of Hispanic families have multi-generations in the household, you may see some of these things, or you may have a person that lives right with you that you may have to have this information on hand: the doctor's phone number, crisis unit number, the police number. And you have to know how to ask for a crisis intervention person, because you don't want grandma to get all excited. I just found out there's a thing called suicide by cop. Okay. Suicide by cop means that a person may get agitated in front of a cop and make the cop want to pull his gun out and shoot him. And you could be the one to say, oh no, that's just how Johnny is. He likes to tempt cops. So please, please don't do that. So you saved Johnny's life. I remember going to a hospital with somebody, and it was a lot of cops in the emergency room, a lot. It was 8 of them, and they had uniforms on. And the person panicked and said, they not taking me. They not taking me. And I'm saying, they ain't gonna take you. They ain't thinking about you. They were just chilling. And she thought they were taking her. She started getting anxious. And I don't know her history with that, but she got automatically paranoid that they were talking about and figuring out how ways they can take her to the jail. And oh my God. So I had to take time to calm her down and say, they're not after you. They're just here for security purposes. And it took a while, but we have to also be mindful when we are talking to those friends or that family member that they have a history that we don't know about. And they may be manifesting their history, and you can't be so judgmental and say, well, that's crazy. You shouldn't think like that. Shh, don't tell me how to think. So we have to be very open-minded and very empathetic, not necessarily feeling sorry for anybody, but trying to understand their plight, trying to put ourselves in their shoes. How would you want somebody to handle you when you're going through something? You could lose your mom and you don't know how much it's going to take you out on a spiral. And it could be just for a month, but you could be gone for a while. And you want somebody that's close to you to understand what's happening because you can't even explain it. You just know you in a weird place. You want somebody to understand that just give me some time. Just be empathetic. Just talk to me calmly. Just let me watch TV for 24 hours. Just let me be. Let me sleep for another 36 hours. Let me be without judging. So the don'ts, and you guys can go on that website as well. The don'ts is don't be judgmental. Don't blame the person for what's going on in their life. You know, well, if you wasn't using them drugs, you wouldn't be in this situation. No, no, no. We don't have a spot because everybody got a story. We don't have the place to tell somebody if they wasn't doing this, they wouldn't be in that. So we have to be really careful. And also, I would say, don't try to make them feel like you have all the answers, right? Because you don't. None of us do. So don't come off as the expert. Just say, hey, I'm here to listen. If you got something you want to talk about, I'm here to listen to you. Don't be so fast to come up with a solution. Because that's what we do. A lot of us are caretakers by nature, right? So we ready to say, okay, so what we're going to do is da da da. No, 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 no. Just sit back. That's the very first thing you do. And listen. Just listen. Sit back, get your composure, and just listen because they just want somebody to hear their story. So that's what I can say to you. Listen.
That's beautiful. Yeah,
Okay.
students, remember, even if you don't understand, even if you
Yep.
have nothing verbal to offer that's going to uplift or anything you even say is not going to solve your friend or person's problem. But the best thing you do have to offer is to listen, to validate what they're saying by just looking them in their eyes as your friend, as your family member. You just listen, and it's okay to feel helpless, and you want to be able to
Yep.
do more for somebody. You want to be able to just come up with a couple lines and solve their problems. For don't worry, we're gonna do this. I understand. I'm a problem solver.
Yep.
Sometimes there is no solution. Sometimes there's a problem to solve for, and you're left with X, and that's it. So you just gotta kind of listen. And Miss Battle, those are very beautiful words. Thank you for sharing that with us. Let's talk about how drugs may affect mental health. So let's say we have a student, and that student has, let's say, well, I'm just going to throw one out there. Let's say it's BPD. Let's say bipolar disorder. We know they have a specific mental health issue, and they're diagnosed, and they are on medication for that. And let's say that this person is an Essex County College student. Is it okay for this student to take drugs and alcohol on top of the medication? Now, we know alcohol is legal, and we know most people that are in college or very shortly after are going to be of drinking age. And of course, in New Jersey, marijuana is now legal recreationally. Does that make any of this okay to mix with mental health medicine, or to even put onto a person who has mental health issues, aside from maybe numbing the person, momentarily? Do drugs and alcohol have any benefit whatsoever to our students, Ms. Jenkins?
Well, when we talk about drugs, we always seem to think of it in a negative form, right? So my number one answer would be, you really got to seek go to your doctor, okay? Because now they have the marijuana where it's supposed to help people with mental illnesses, right? Help them cope, calm them down. So I say first seek your physician. But on a general, I would not even suggest me taking drugs while you on medication. That could heighten everything, your emotions, your thinking, your behavior, right? You know, with your doctor, with your prescription, and now you taking no telling what type of drug you're taking. Is it a stimulant, or is it something that's going to really make you go off, right? Like, right? So it's like I would not suggest taking drugs. If a student at the college that I'm aware of, or come to me, or someone come to me on behalf of someone else, and they're stating that the student is taking drugs and is on medication, you know, I'm going to definitely refer them, one, while they're on campus, if they can talk to that student, right? If they don't want to come talk to me, but if they can talk to that student, to really try to convince the student to go to the counseling department. Like, go just seek someone, security. I'm sure there's rules and guidelines that are in place for students that are having these issues. Okay, not just suspend them, or they can no longer come to Essex County College, but let's try to get help for this person, this student, right? So I will always try to work on safety first, even if that person that's coming to me, what could you do to help keep this person safe? Maybe have this conversation that, you my friend, I don't think you should be mixing these two together. Let's seek some counseling, right? And like I said, always too, you got to check out with your medical physician, because I don't know if this drug that you're taking is going to cause what type of side effects, right? So definitely I would say get counseling, get help, and always go to the guideline that Professor Battle put on the website too. Like, there's a lot of support available. There is. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you. Professor Battle, what do you say to a student who has anxiety, who also has mental health issues, is on medication, maybe a mood stabilizer, and they're saying to you, oh, I have anxiety, that's okay, I'm just going to smoke a little weed and that's going to fix everything. And this person is already on medication. What do you say?
That they need help. Because when they come for counseling, if they went to a professional counselor, the first thing that counselor is going to do is say, now need to go get help for your drug addiction, because that needs to be ruled out first before any counseling can happen, because the person will be caught up in the addiction before they can work on themselves. So it's unfortunately that's a very popular thing, to be cross addicted. So we are not only addicted to our mental health drug, but we are addicted to other drugs. So you're co-addictive. So those things are often handled in house in terms of inpatient program, because outpatient, they can't really control how much a person is getting high or what kind of drugs they're using. So inpatient, they can control the medication and keep them on a regimen until the person can handle it on their own. So that it just opens up another can of worms that counseling could not help, because if the person is coming to the session high, nothing is happening. It's not a productive session. So the first thing a professional counselor is going to do is say, hey, let's get you into a program, or at least let's get you into a detox center, so we can get you back into the swing of getting counseling and working on yourself. So that's what I say.
Excellent. Thank you. I do briefly want to touch on this. I know I just mentioned it before, but I know our students are interested in this, and I have two experts with me, so I do want to try and clarify this. Now that marijuana is decriminalized, and I'm sure the recreational use is coming, we talk about anxiety and we talk about how marijuana can help folks with anxiety. can this replace a prescription drug from a doctor? Like, say you go to see, a psychologist, psychiatrist. Say you go see your people, and marijuana is an option for you if you have, severe anxiety or trauma or whatever the case may be. Is this something that a doctor would prescribe now, or is this too new for this to be integrated into medicines in New Jersey for mental health? Do either of you know anything about this?
They would get a prescription.
Okay.
Yeah, prescriptions are given by doctors. Again, it's about controlled, right? So it's not, the doctor's not going to tell you, yo, go buy that nickel bag from Joe on the corner and you'll be all right. No, he's going to give you a prescription for a specific amount that you're supposed to smoke, once a day, 2 times a day, between, every 8 hours, just like you would give a normal prescription for medication. So it's not designed for you to just smoke when you feel like it. It's going to be a prescription.
Okay, so even if we get prescriptions for medical cannabis to treat anxiety and stuff like that, self-medication is never okay. Is that what I'm getting from you? For anything, right? So we always have to go with what our doctor says with medication and stuff like that. So that's something that we may encounter when we have folks, family and friends who do take drugs for for mental health issues. Self-medication is important. How do we know when someone around us that we love is self-medicating? How can we tell, if something's off about them? Is it ever okay to say, hey, have you taken your medication? Or is it ever okay to say, hey, are you taking the right amount? Are you taking the right medication? But what if that person maybe is fibbing a little bit about what they're taking or when they're taking it? How can we spot these behaviors in somebody? What can we do about it if someone is abusing drugs that are prescribed to them that are supposed to help them?
Check the medicine.
Check the medicine?
Bottle.
Okay.
I did that with my mom. So in the cases, and it doesn't have to be a young person, it could be an older person too. So I would keep an eye on their medicine bottle, because you don't have to ask them anything. If they have 30 pills in that bottle and they're supposed to take 1 a day and it's only been 2 days, that's a problem. So, it may be some extra work on your hands, but if you're really concerned, you're going to do some things that may be out of your realm of doing to find out the truth, because an addict is not going to tell you the truth. He's not going to say, oh, yo, I took 5 of them today. No, he's not. He's going to say, I'm doing all right. That's why I'm taking my meds. You don't see it? Usually when they get testy like that and get defensive, it's a problem. Something is wrong. And when they need to go get another prescription too soon and they get mad at the pharmacist or the doctor because they're not giving them another prescription, it's a problem. So, I think you'll see the signs. I think it's a nice idea to be able to have a little list of symptoms. It depends on the drug. It depends on, some drugs knock you down. They're depressants, and others have you high as a kite. And they have you jumping all over the place. So It depends on the drug. It depends on the effect of the drug. And it depends on the person you're dealing with. So you got to just pay attention. You got to pay attention. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything that Professor Battle just said. I do think it's okay to ask as well, but we know that someone can tell you a lie. Like, yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm taking my medicine as I should, as it was prescribed. But, you can always, take notice of their behaviors. Okay. Their behaviors would tell you a lot. And I think Professor Batter said, check the medication, the bottle, to see if it's where it should be. These are all signs. There's so many signs. Unfortunately, we see these signs, but sometimes we're in denial, just like the person that's abusing the drug, right? We see it right in front of our faces, but just won't react for whatever reason we are, right? We're not reacting, right? But yeah, you can definitely tell with their moods, their thinking, physical things they're doing, not going to work, not going to school. They are all in front of our faces, these signs. But absolutely, I would say yes. You can ask the person, knowing that they may lie to you, but have your backup plan. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. I have one more heavy one for you both. I didn't mean to save this for last, but I do. I'm hoping you guys have some insight for this. What do we do when we have a friend who is suicidal and maybe not at that particular moment per se that they're threatening to take their life or do harm themselves, but someone that is actively speaking about ending their life and is asking you, their best friend or their or their relative, to don't tell anybody about this, don't ever say anything to anybody, this is how I feel, it's my personal business, I'm sharing it with you because you're my friend, I don't want your help, I don't want anything, I'm just letting you know that one day I may kill myself and here's why. And they're pleading with you, do never tell anybody this. What is the correct move to make here if you are worried about this person and you think they're in danger? At the same time, they're also telling you, if you ever speak about this to anybody, I will never talk to you again. What do we do in this particular situation, Professor Battle?
If someone is a danger to themselves or anyone else, you have a duty to run and tell somebody. So 911, or you do what you got to do. Let them be mad. Let them not talk to you again. You saving their life, because as soon as you turn your back, they could go do their thing, and you'll feel like crap, feeling like, oh my God, I didn't do it. I believed them. I didn't want them to feel like I was betraying them. No. And don't ever promise that you won't tell nobody. Don't ever, ever, ever do that, because you have to tell somebody. You have to. It is your duty as their friend, as their family member, whatever, as a human being. Because if I'm in danger to myself and I see somebody that's telling me, "Oh, I promise I ain't gonna tell nobody," when I get in my right mind, I'm probably gonna be mad at you anyway. Because you ain't do nothing. So I'm just saying that's the like the final. You have to make a decision and say, you know what, guys, I love you, but I'm getting ready to make this call, and you deal with it. I mean, at the college we have to do that, and oftentimes I'm the one to see the students that are in that type of situation. We got to make that call. And they get angry. They, oh no, I'm all right. No, no, that's big. And that is a sure sign that something bigger is happening. This is not one of those things, oh, well, if I just get some sleep, I'll be all right in the morning. No, that's a problem. That's a big problem. So please go tell 911, go tell somebody, so that that person, even if you say, come on, let's get in the car. I've had students, I would say, let's get on the bus. I don't drive. So let's get on the bus and go up to University Hospital. And we take a ride on up there. And I sit with them until they get their services done, because it's important. And a lot of times they are crying out to you to take them and go get some help. So you can offer and say, hey, I'll go with you. I'll drive you there, but I need you to be here for me. I need you to survive. That whole song that came out years ago, I need you to survive. That's what it's all about. So you have to tell that person, look, you hurting me by saying you want to get rid of yourself. So I just want to be here for you and drive you to the hospital, or call 911, or get an Uber or whatever. but be there for them.
That's wonderful. You do that for our students. Awesome. Professor Jenkins? Oh, you're on mute, Miss Jenkins. Sorry.
Yes, this is a very interesting subject. When someone wants to commit suicide, when I worked in the mental health agency, I had to deal with this situation a lot, and it's just not an easy thing. But all that Professor Better has said is definitely true. Now here is you know, now if this is a friend, and they come to me, if they come to me and they're saying that, I'm going to commit suicide, or I'm thinking about committing suicide, and I don't want you to tell anyone, right? I'm going to let my friend know, look, you are my friend, and I am not going to keep this secret. It's just too big. I don't want you to harm yourself, and I'm going to do everything I can to help you not to do that, right? Now, I would definitely, get help for my friend, right? I'll be there. I'll go to the hospital, whatever I need to do. Now, what I want to say is this too, that if it's my friend, I'm going to refer my friend to someone because I don't want to miss anything. Okay. But if I'm doing this as a profession, and my client come to me, I'm going to find out too, what happened the night before or an hour before that they have made you come to this conclusion of you wanting to kill yourself, right? I'm going to have a discussion with this person, right? Especially if they're in my office. I'm going to find out what's going on. Not just, I'm going to go back at least to a month, how everything happened, how this started, so we can get to the bottom of this and try to resolve this issue so it won't happen again. But definitely, if someone says that they are thinking about suicide, and this has happened so much with me in my career that I'm just thinking about an incident that I was faced with. But if someone comes to you, please do not ignore it. Don't take it for granted. Don't be thinking, oh, you're not going to do this. And especially if they have a plan. You're going to kill yourself. What you mean? Like, how are you going to kill yourself? Oh, I have a gun, or I have a bottle of pills, right? These are some serious stuff they're telling you because they have thought about it enough that now they got a plan on how they're going to do it. And ideation, oh, I'm going to just kill myself. People say this all the time sometimes. I'm going to kill myself, but some people don't really mean it. But come on, if they're coming to you with a plan or whatever, to take it serious no matter what. You are not there to do the investigation. Get help for them. Seek help. Let those people that's in those positions that do crisis intervention, let them do the investigation. Let them have the interview with these people. But as soon as you hear, I'm going to kill myself, all right, we got to do something. Do not leave them alone. Do not. Okay. So I don't want to get emotional because I'm just thinking about some cases that I experienced, and you know, but yeah, seek help right away. Don't take it for granted. If you are a friend, you're going to seek help. Don't be like, okay, you're my best friend, I'll keep your secret. No secret here. No secrets. Get help. No matter if they're mad with you and say they ain't going to speak to you. Oh, well, they may not speak to you, but you help save their lives. So
Ms.
that's it.
Jenkins, thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. That was, students, what she just said is really important. We are not the investigators. We are not the credentialed experts. Professor Jenkins, Professor Battle, I'm not. But in general, when we're in a situation like that, none of us are the expert. None of us are the clinical professional. You got to call somebody. You got to get a professional in there, because if you make a decision and you weren't qualified and that decision spiraled into something that you had not planned, you're going to feel horrible, possibly even some legal trouble. So always always keep it safe. Call a professional.
Yeah.
Call the crisis hotline. Send an email. See a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
I put the crisis, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline on the chat. I would advise you guys to just put it in your phone. You never know. Um, Again, it's one of those lines that it's always somebody on the other end. And so even if you don't take your friend to the hospital, you can say, you know what, I'm gonna sit right here while you call these people and you have a conversation with them. Um, Maybe they don't feel comfortable going to the emergency room, especially in light of COVID and all this. So, okay, so we're gonna sit right here and we're gonna let them talk to us and tell us what the next step is for us to do. Um, and maybe that would be enough, maybe not. But that's a start. It's a start. Um, I had a family member that was going back to your drug and alcohol question, was starting to drink a lot and everything, and starting to act out more, become violent and judgmental and nasty. And I gave him the phone and dialed Alcoholics Anonymous. And they never took another drink after that. That was a blessing. But some people are not that strong. So, whatever support that you can provide, again, no promises, but that I'm going to be here for you. But no promises, or I'm going to keep your secret or whatever, because it's too dangerous. I mean, and the biggest population that commits suicide are college students. So please listen to your peers. Listen, pay attention to your peers and say, hey, I'm here for you. I know sometimes it feels like a heavy burden, like you got a lot of other stuff going on. I get it. But when it comes to saving a life, it's just nothing that can compare to that. So please just be mindful and pay attention to the signs. The signs are like hopelessness, always talking about killing themselves. They get very depressed. They're not taking care of themselves, not washing up, not, sleeping or eating right. And it's a sense of hopelessness. Ain't nothing going right. I'm failing my classes. I might as well just go ahead and take myself out. If they keep saying that, it's like, okay, you know what? We got to sit down and, like Professor Jenkins said, have this conversation. And sometimes they might not want to talk to you, but you could say, hey, I got this phone number we could call, and we could put it on, a speaker, and we could talk together. You know, it's whatever you think will help. That's what it's all about. Whatever you think will help. So, I don't mean to put the pressure on y'all, but I hope y'all never have to go through it, because it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. But in case you are, arm yourself with the number so that you can have a resource available to you in addition to 911, because some people are afraid of cops and hospitals and all that, so you have to provide them with another option to say, hey, would you be willing to do this at least? And then we could take it from there, because the suicide hotline people are going to say, okay, so your next step will be to do this after you have a conversation. So best wishes to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Professor Battle. I would like to see if we have any questions on the floor. Any students here have any questions for our counselors, Professor Battle and Professor Jenkins? The floor is
I have a
open to you.
question.
Sure, Joseph, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ott. I have to say that this topic centered about the importance of mental health is very educational. That we should all look out for some people who are going through a lot because of life's trials and tribulations. It's like what the golden rule said: try to understand others instead of being judgmental, no matter what walks of life they come from. Be a blessing to others once in a blue moon.
Amen.
Hey, Joseph.
Awesome.
Hey, Miss Battle.
Yes.
I miss you.
Okay.
Yes, I know who you are. You ain't even have to show me your face. I knew who you were.
Oh.
Do you know who I am, Miss Basil?
Yes, Sarah.
I'll show
Is
you
that
my
my
face right
Sarah?
now.
Sarah, I love you,
I love you too.
Hey, Olivia.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, summer one is my last year to graduate
Hey. What? No way.
because I'm
No way.
graduating.
No, I can't
Joseph's
believe it.
leaving us.
And I'm transferring to another university.
Where?
Congrats, Sarah.
Where
Yeah,
you going?
I'm going to Seton Hall.
Wow.
Cool.
That's
That's high
private.
class. Okay. Well, best wishes to you, darling. Let me know how you're doing, okay?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Does anybody else have anything to say or any questions for our gurus? Anybody have any questions for our mental health gurus? You can use the chat too if you'd like. We appreciate all the activity going on in the chat during this. I didn't get to see it all, but I know you guys are all ranting and raving about our counselors with us today, so we thank you for that. Yeah, this open forum. If anybody has anything to say to our counselors or any questions, I mean, you can always reach out and email, but you can get them while they're here right now, and you can type it in the chat. You can turn your camera on, whatever you like. We're here.
But Joseph, I have a question.
Sure.
I have a question that I would like to ask the students.
Sure.
How are you? How do you deal with anxiety, especially with, this virtual learning that we're involved in now? How are you dealing with that?
Well, I
What
have
are
to
your
see.
coping skills?
Okay. Well, after the pandemic impacted society, I seem to adjust it to virtual learning, which is the only way to maintain and balance my education at Essex County College, because it has a lot of ups and downs, but I don't take it personally because it's still my college since day one.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
No problem, Mrs. Jenkins. Oh, Professor Jenkins, my
Okay.
bad.
It's okay, either one. Anyone else? Because I'm hearing it all the time that there's just a lot of extra anxiety with students, especially if they work and have to take care of their families. And now they have to study for their exams. They got to be on Zoom. I'm hearing that it's just a lot of extra anxiety. And I'm just interested in how do you cope with it?
Well, can I take the stand too? So
Go for it,
for
Sarah.
me, I feel like whenever I feel like I'm stressed or I feel like I'm overwhelmed with a lot of things with studies or if I have an upcoming tests, I first off just think about if I cram myself with knowledge and study over and over again, or if I find a tutor and talk and just tell the tutor how I feel and just tell he or she what the problem is and how I need to figure it out. Or sometimes I just do things that I like, which is drawing and just sketching out my feelings because that's something I really like. It helps wrangle all my emotions into one piece of art.
Very
I have
nicely
some
put,
of her
Sarah.
beautiful artwork in my office.
Yes,
Awesome.
I do. You do.
Like, Sarah, I want some artwork. How many virtual cafes we've done? Come on.
Okay, I'm gonna. I'll show you some. I'll show you some of my art. Actually, I can show you it right now. I'll just turn on my camera. Yeah, I'll show you.
Oh, I love art too, Sarah.
Okay,
Don't
thank
forget
you.
about Professor Jenkins.
Yes, Miss Jenkins. See, this is it.
Where you
Oh,
at?
wow.
Okay,
Oh,
yes.
nice.
Beautiful.
Nice
Oh,
job.
yes.
Beautiful.
Something I've been working on
Yes.
during these times.
Amen.
Awesome. Wow.
Oh, look at
Oh,
that. Nice.
Might have to get you to do a
beautiful.
commission. All right,
Oh, really?
Sarah.
Thank you.
Oh,
Ooh,
wow. Look at those colors.
yeah.
Okay,
Super
they
Very
look
cool.
like the
talented.
Flintstones.
Nice.
That
And
was
I've
Wham Bam.
opened this to my sketchbook. This like it.
Isn't
Very
that
cool.
you?
Wow.
Yes, it's me.
Yes. Okay.
Nice.
Awesome.
Princess Sarah.
Thank
Yep.
you, Princess Sarah.
I think
You
Queen
too.
Sarah.
Joseph,
Yes.
may I ask another question, please?
Surely.
To the students, what is it that you feel that the professors could do? Well, I'm gonna use the word better okay, to help with students that's going through anxieties or with their issues, their distresses, whatever. What is it? Is there anything that you think within the classroom setting or virtually that you feel that professors could do or should do?
You can just
Or
chime
are
in.
we doing everything right?
Maybe if I could speak.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I think that just don't rush certain deadlines, and if there's a lot of homework, maybe like condense them into like for instance 5 homework could condense into one homework with a few questions but with a lot of concepts in there. That way it wouldn't be as overwhelming, like for example for students that may have children or and their jobs.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. So instead of having 10 homework assignments, maybe have 5 homework assignments, right?
Nice.
I don't know if we can come down to just one, but like decrease the homework assignments. Oh, thank you for that.
We have a question in the chat from Fernando. He asks, I start in the fall and I have anxiety about getting bad treatment or neglect from teachers. Where's the best place to go if there is tension with teachers or bad communication?
I responded.
Oh, I
My
didn't.
my response was first start with positive thinking.
Oh, okay.
That's the first thing, Fernando. Remember we talked about that. Positive thinking makes all the difference in the world. If that situation does come up, speak with the teacher in private first. You always give the teacher the benefit of the doubt because sometimes teachers are not aware, just like most of us, that we're being rude or mean in some kind of way. We have bad days too. So sometimes it's okay to go right to the teacher after the class and say, hey, I don't know if I did something to disrespect you or anything, but you were snappy today or you were disrespectful to me. And I just want to know how can I prevent that in the future, and give them the opportunity to say, oh my God, I didn't even know I was doing that. I'm sorry. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Now we can go forward and start with a new page the next time we come into the class. If it continues, you always have a chairperson over that teacher. You always have a chairperson. Everybody got a boss, Fernando. Everybody. So you go to the chairperson and say, hey, I've already spoken to the teacher. I need to, report this because this is a problem. And you could come to a counselor if it's bothering you in terms of causing you anxiety or, you're having bad feelings about it. We could talk about that. But there's a protocol with everything. So always start with the person that offended you and then work it up from there. Okay, but let's hope that we don't have that problem because you're in the school of adulthood now. So a lot of times things change when you become an adult and you don't have the same issues that you had in high school. All right, because sometimes teachers can be just, they talk down to kids. Yeah, all y'all just kids. So here you are as an adult and you got to carry yourself like one. And you got to hold your head up and say, I'm a man. I'm a grown man. And you go in there and you say, hey, I'm Fernando and I'm glad to meet you. And you're going to go in with a positive attitude and you're going to treat that teacher with respect and they're going to treat you with respect. All right? All right. Fall's going to be a great semester, man. It's going to be a great semester.
Hey,
you're going to get that new notebook with them 200 sheets of paper.
Hey, Professor Battle just brought up a good point. Not every teacher is like the be all end all, you know what I mean? Sometimes they may be messing up just like you or me, and they don't even know. So you might think that they got it all, worked out and they're doing this intentionally, but there is that chance that maybe technology has failed them somehow, or they are missing something, or whatever the case may be. But not everything is done maliciously. That's what I'll say. Sometimes we all make mistakes, and it can get misconstrued, or determined incorrectly over the internet sometimes. But just remember to give your teacher the benefit of the doubt. And if they're still being a jerk, then you go to the chair. But before that, let's, maybe they just messed up something. That's all.
Absolutely. Talk to the professor first.
I tell my students all the time, it's one of me and 30 of you. So I got to deal with all your accents because that's what students complain about. Oh, my teacher got an accent. I can't understand what they're saying. If you take the time to listen, you probably can work through that accent. But just like you guys come in with your work problems and your children problems and your fears and anxieties, we got our days too. So you got to deal with one of me. And I got to deal with 30 of you. So imagine. And
I have to deal with more than 30. Right. I have to deal with hundreds.
Right. So that's what I'm saying, Fernando. Keep an open mind because sometimes it's just not what we think it is. Sometimes it's just a bad day. So if it happens 3 days in a row, maybe it's a bad week. But if it continues, you might have to, like I said, bring the person to the side. Because sometimes we are not aware of it. And if somebody brings it to our attention, it makes all the difference in the world. Because the first thing that teacher is going to say, if that chairperson goes to them, the teacher is going to say, wow, he never said anything to me. So you would want somebody to come to you and say, Fernando, man, you've been acting real funny, man. And so you can have an opportunity to say, oh man, I just, I lost my dog. My dog died and my mother's sick. And so you got a whole list of things that's on your mind and you're not meaning to take it out on this person. Same thing. All right. You're going to have a great fall semester, man. Welcome to Essex.
First off, Professor Jenkins, Professor Battle, sincerely, thank you so much for joining us on Virtual Cafe. Thank you for lending your expertise, your guru wisdom about mental health to our students. I know they appreciate it, and we definitely do. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys for listening and being attentive and for your questions. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to the Virtual Cafe today. We appreciate you participating in our mental health program. If you would like one of our free t-shirts that we were showing you earlier, the S.T.U.C.K t-shirt, it has the print on the sleeve here, and it has the entire back and the front for you to decorate. We want to give this to you today for showing up to our program. We appreciate you coming and caring about mental health with us. So all you have to do to get this t-shirt is go ahead and send an email to jott@essex.edu. Oh, I typed it incorrectly in the chat. Hold on one second. There it is, jott@essex.edu. Let me know, 1, your name, 2, your address, and 3, your favorite part about today's program. So let me know your name, your address, your favorite part about today's program. And my email is jott@essex.edu. I want to thank Professors Battle and Professor Jenkins for sharing their guru expertise and wisdom with us today. So thank you again. We want to thank you all for tuning into the Virtual Cafe today. We hope that you and your families are doing well, and we hope to catch you next time. So until then, take care.